here. So again, I think it is probably a little bit of an R&D. You mean, do you really want to be doing some research and development in a tournament stage that determines if you're top or second seed? That's, again, a question left up to the players. But here we are. We're already seeing a big focus on the side of ABH's blue buff, trying to take it away from the Luna, and they have. Luna's already into the top side of the map, looking to get that red buff, and was already given pressure by the lane. I feel like that was a really great distraction play there from Snow.
Yeah, a big, it's a distraction, yes, but it took 4 members of AG Global to kind of ensure that they get that blue buff and you steal it away, which is, I think, pretty smart, especially against ABH on that Luna. Needs to get that one to kind of help them farm and to kind of accelerate. So a big commitment, yes, but I think it might pay off dividends in the long run. So something that they need to keep going. AG have kind of changed this up, but to your point of earlier, of just kind of like, is Loops kind of playing around too much? I'm not entirely sure, but I think that it's good enough where, you want to give yourself a little bit of room for creativity. But Luna here, talk me through a little bit about this, Blam.
Yeah, so Luna's basic combo is obviously a first ult and then second, but like I was saying in the draft, she is very reliant on that blue buff. So if you're watching at home and you think, oh, this is a really cool flashy hero in the jungle, just be careful that your enemy team know what you are drafting and know what to do against you. That's me assuming with my best intentions that your enemy team is better than your team, which is always the intention that you should have going into a ranked match. But yes, Luna, again, another flashy hero, great ultimate, being able to bring the heroes together, managing to do amazing AoE damage and have like loads of dashes as well. It is pretty much the pinnacle of Honor of Kings heroes, is just loads of dashes, super flashy. They take a second blue buff from Luna, starving this hero to the point of that she's going to become unplayable for ABH. We already saw that ABH rocked random for, oh, where's my blue buff gone? But
yeah, has no blue buff, has to actually recall back for mana, and it's a very painful walk of shame. ABH needs to kind of take what's left, pretty much, basically the leftovers of her own jungle, just kind of pushing that along. But AG coming out with a different strategy, trying to force them out, playing the macro game by invading as much as possible, making things very difficult for ABH on this Luna.
Yeah, they're definitely playing game 2 early game a lot better on the side of AG Global. I mean, the fact that they haven't died first blood yet is a definite progression within this series already. So I feel like we could maybe see a back-to-back here. We could get a 1-1 for AG Global if they keep playing with this level-headed, with the strat that they are going to starve Luna of all those blue buffs. But the later as it gets onto the game, she's going to be able to get a few more blue buffs than she did in the early game, which I feel like will be a little bit more of a detriment for her her improvement into the late game. Because if you kept starving it, I mean, I have no doubt that AG Global could keep starving it for her, but I feel like going into the late game, giving over those blue buffs is just going to be, that's where we see the Luna start to activate, is when she does get that buff that she needs.
Yeah, AG is just trying to force the early game, right? Take advantage of it. It's you're going to have a much easier time playing from ahead as opposed to behind. And again, AG just taking whatever sort of gap that they have, they're turning this into a much bigger lead here. They've just taken the Tyrants. They're looking to invade again. And Tempest now walks into this one and sees, hey, where did our Crimson Golem go? And again, that's been stolen as well.
Yeah, literally not leaving much at all for the side of Luz, but Luz may be getting the first tier turret in the farm lane here, and they claim first turret. They lose the first Tyrant, but able to get some real estate down onto the bot side of the map. But Mayin is getting picked off on this 3v1. I forgot that Sunset, the death on Sunset came through, and the minion's still there. They're not going to be able to claim the turret just yet, or claim Mayin, but thanks to that, that was a great distraction by the side of Loops, giving ABH the enemy's blue buff.
Yeah, that was a pretty big commitment by AGG, right? In the sense that they tried to go for 3 on the top. Tempest able to flash away, keeps himself alive, and basically keeping that tower alive as well. And that's a huge bit of shift, right? They wasted time, they didn't get the pick off, and now look at the net worth lead. It's completely shifted into Loop's favor.
Yeah, Loop's just playing a little bit more of a better macro play here because they've lost their T2 in farm lane. So I'm not too sure what AG are doing here, whether that was just a whole overall misnavigation of that first part of obviously the Tyrant and making sure they was able to claim the Tyrant, but they haven't really done anything with that Tyrant buff. There's no kills on the board. There was no huge engages to kind of make use of the Tyrant, and now the Overlord just sat there like, oh, does nobody really want to give me love? Does nobody want to take me? On the side of Loops, they don't need it. It could be beneficial for the side of AG Global.
Yeah, and ABH now maybe potentially taking his blue buff. Maybe, I think for the first time. Looks like they're going to get on this one. Kinglin might have gotten that. Oh, no, I didn't.
No, they was able to get it. He able to secure his pride and joy for the first time in the game. 6 minutes in and claiming your own first blue buff. That is a little bit of a disrespect, a little bit of a violation, we would say in the UK. But again, there's not really much showing here on the side for All Gamers Global just yet. They had a little bit of a steed in the early game. Quingling might be getting picked off here. Yes, first blood going over to Tempest. So Mayeen kicking about the lady, the mermaid of the songs, just making sure work of the Dolia. They'd be like, we'll catch you out. Don't worry. We'll take our sweet time, but we'll get you.
Okay, 6 minutes and 30 seconds. I mean, this game was going in. It was 0-0. Nobody had gotten any kills. I thought I was watching a game of soccer. In case you don't know what soccer is, Blam, that happens to be football. You're welcome. But nonetheless, they finally got that kill. This is the initial one, and hopefully this is, I mean, this is looking to be a more, like, they're trying to build on this lead. Loops right now have taken this out. They've taken the bottom T2 that you talked about earlier, but now Loops, what else can they do? They're putting pressure on this mid T1 now.
Yeah, this is the thing of the Fang, but think about that in a moment. The Mayeen dives a little bit too far into the enemy's back line and dies there. So we see that AG Global are able to pick up a kill onto Tempest. Tempest not being as flashy as he thought he was, especially being halted there by Winter's Coming. We had Dunn with his Chain Blade as well. And yeah, it was just a non-starter for Tempest, unfortunately, into the enemy backline. But like you were saying, it seems like a little bit of a quiet first part of the match. We are going into the 8-minute mark. We're seeing that ABH is building those magic damage items, which Luna is one of the few magic damage heroes in the jungle. But speaking of heroes and being in the jungle, there seems to be a bit of a clash. ABH going for Zaze to make sure he doesn't get any late team fight damage, but we also have Snow to the back of the team fight, but it's a 3v1. Liv just doesn't know how to get in, but still being strangled at the back. There is Myosotis is being able to soak so much damage, but it is going to be an inevitable death for Luna onto the Dune there. So Dune falling down, not soaking as near as much damage as he needed to, and we have Fang pushing that clash lane.
Oh, what a disaster for AG right now. Liv was the only one who literally lived up to his name and lived to see another day. He's going to be back in, just waiting for reinforcements at this point, but just really not a good fight. Zaze got caught out, was actually trying to rolling raid, I think, away. It looked like he actually went the wrong way with it. Instead of running away, he actually ran into them. So that's a bit of maybe a misclick on that one. But nonetheless, AG right now, just trying to survive, trying to get themselves back in this one, but they're down 5k. This is going to be a tough one.
Yeah, no, I'd like to think Zaze was just showing his potential of the indomitable human spirit. He was just like, you know what, I'm committed to this, baby. Take me on. I will get one of you, and then realize the shortcomings within his team, being behind by 5k gold and being very far behind with these turrets. Because what I was trying to talk about before that whole thing popped up is Fang. The thing that people forget about Fang is this hero has such a great turret takedown potential, because his second ability puts a first ability puts damage over time with those little, as you can see on that skin, is rotating lollipops, and it does more damage once he procs all three. But here we are. Oh, okay. We see Dune going over the wall to stop ABH going onto Snow. So a little bit of support there from Snow's teammates to stop a takedown from the lane.
Oh, it's a sad day when you're on the lanes, Snow that is, and you have to use your death at sunset just to survive, just to get back in. to your own base and just kind of fight another day. But, you know, Loops right now forcing the issue, putting pressure on, weakening them, and then taking what they can on the way out, which happens to be the Tyrant at this point. And that was the 10-minute one, right? The Shadow Tyrant, they'll take this one, and they're kind of just push forward. And you talked about Zir again on this Fang. He was second in terms of net worth on his team, and he's going to start doing some damage, and he's going to be very, very scary.
Scary indeed, but even more scary is that Maying going straight into the back of your team. You think you've got a front line, she's already past you. She's done parkour over your head and is looking to take down the squishier heroes, but wasn't able to bring anything there. Tempest learned from his mistake of overextending, as that is the only kill that All Gamers Global currently have on the board, is when Tempest just flew a little bit too close to the sun.
Too close to the sun, and unfortunately you're gonna, you know, sometimes it doesn't go well, but unfortunately this is gonna be another Overlord going the way of Loops right now. Again, just building on that lead, understanding how to play this game strategically and objective based. It's been very difficult for AG to find anything. Look at them, they're all 5 of them are, you know, grouped together, holding hands, singing Kumbaya, but they're not getting any farm. It's a very difficult game for all gamers globally.
Yeah, this is what the kind of slow burning game does to you, is the fact that Loops has taken all of their lifelines off of the table other than the higher ground turrets, so you have no ropes to bounce back off when you are AG Global right now. You're kind of trying to fight on that back foot, which isn't a nice position to be in, especially when you're already down 1-0 on the overall score of this match. But there we go, Luda going into the back to try and taunt the back line of AG Global. Tempest is like, no, you can take the lead as we try and take the higher ground turret. Not able to close it, however, but doing a lot of damage to that higher ground turret as the Vanguards rock around.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to actually get enough just space in that mid lane to kind of push the bottom lane, if that makes sense. You know, putting pressure in one place where you kind of attract attention now that they have to react to what they're doing, which is the bottom, and it looks like they're going to take the mid T3 as well. And again, Loops being very, very surgical with their attack.
Yes, a very precise. If I was needing some sort of surgery, I would want this team's Loop to be the surgeon right now. At least,
really?
Yeah, absolutely. The aggression, getting it done, the surgery would be over. I'd be literally skipping out the hospital before like 20 minutes time. I'm like, yo, I'm bigging you guys up. You need to just do everybody's surgery from now on. But right now, yes, looking very surgical, as you were saying there. We see that the higher ground turret, both in the mid lane and the farm lane, is down. This is just classical Loops Esports at its finest.
Yeah, and they're doing very, very well. Again, just pushing it out, making it very difficult. Look at how AG are just so scared to leave their own base. They just kind of take the minion wave, they back up, realizing that, hey, we might find just random people like Tempest being able to just blow me up. So we're going to be super careful. We're going to hold hands. We're going to use the buddy system, make sure that nobody's walking in any dark alleys at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the side of AG Global's jungle is probably full of dark alleys and dark bushes, and like we just saw there with the Maying, just being able to just be like, you don't want to venture too far because you don't know where I am. And that's the given that All Gamers Global don't have at this point, is they only have 2 points of reference of the vision, is if they procced it from that T2 turret there and put it onto their red buff, same with their blue buff. That's the only point of call they're going to have. So unless Loops Esports navigate the jungle in such fashion that they get activated by it, like we're seeing now on the Zhongfei and the Lady Shen, kind of using it as a bait mechanic here, but they do take the next Shadow Tyrant, so again, not giving over another Tyrant since the first one. So AG Global able to get the first Tyrant on the board, but since they have been stifled.
Yeah, stifled, just suffocated. Just insert any other adjective that starts with the letter S at this point, because they are struggling. Oh, that's another one. No, yeah. But,
there you go.
AG right now, I mean, they need to split push. They need to figure out a way to kind of get a little bit more breathing room. But Mithy going for the unbridled outburst all the way in the backside, and it looks like he's just going to back off more than anything else. That T3 top will still be standing.
Yeah, still standing, not doing much damage to it because of no minion waves, and the clearing from AG Global earlier on was able to sort of mitigate the damage of the higher ground turret, or the acquisition of the higher ground turret from Loops Esports. But again, puts him in a very tricky situation. Mithy is low. He has to recall just so he can get that health back, it seems. Oh, he's not gone back. He's just pretending to recall. How dare you, you cheeky boy. but Myosotis is on the run. Okay, ABH and Tempest trying to catch out the Dune so that the rest of the team fight becomes super duper easy. The Death on Sunset coming through. Oh, the flash from Lady Chen keeping her alive in that whole interaction. But no, there is another Death on Sunset. There is 2 suns on the universe of the Gorge, but it has now been sunsetted by ABH.
Oh my gosh, Kank with the outplay, that flash, dodging the death at sunset, and of course
Beautiful.
the shields were on point as well, and again, just turned it around, and Loops are starting to feel it. They're playing well as a team, they're understanding the limits, and it looks like they're going to go in.
Looks like they are looking to finish here with the minions in the mid lane and the farm lane, and only Zays to protect the day, and it is game 2. So another 2-0 hauler in the